Welcome to Java, and thank you kindly for joining me. It is September 16th, 2024. It's Monday. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Thank you kindly for coming back and joining me. Got quite a bit I would like to go over. There is so much going on right now. So we'll start with the markets. Let's get right into it. With this calendar starting this morning, we're getting Empire State Manufacturing Survey. This is to give us a little eye into what is actually being produced in the United States as far as from New York. Now, tomorrow morning, prior to market open, we're getting retail sales, industrial production, and capacity. Now, the big event is Wednesday indeed, but we've got a few other things going on. Now, I'd like to show this chart regarding the manufacturing PMI right now, showing that the United States is indeed in contraction. So, manufacturing going down, GDP will drop, other than the war weapons that is driving in what I call a war economy right now. If it wasn't for those, there would be so much less in the GDP for the United States. So, just want to answer a couple of things with this. Markets forward, we are looking at the Fed on Wednesday. We are in what I would say a joint debt market. We're also looking towards Bank of Japan not making decisions, but they should be giving clues on Friday. I'll speak about that in a bit because basically, economically, why does it matter to you what happens in Japan is because that will flood into the United States market. So I get this question the other day. In fact, I get this frequently about the gold standard coming back, and the answer is right here. Why? Because central banks will not allow it. Now, there is a movement, we're talking about March with a peaceful protest that will be happening for next 4th of July. There'll be more news on that coming forward. We've also got some legal actions pending. So if you want to hear more about that, join us in Discord, leaving a link in the description. Okay, moving forward with our markets this morning, we've got risk as we're walking into this solidly in the neutral zone, basically between risk, fear, and greed, which are the drivers at the market. So, what's going on? We've got the 10-year yield retracting as well as the strength of the dollar plummeting. Now, this is just on the promise of rate cuts that everybody is expecting for Wednesday. Now, the only thing that they're going between is whether it's going to be a quarter point or a half. Now, my personal opinion is that they are more about managing the markets than it is about the actual rate effect. So, with this, they've already got their wording as managing these markets, and that is how they will go moving forward. I believe they cut 0.5%. It will shock the markets a bit, and they don't want to do that. So with this, we've got cryptocurrencies back under the 60,000 level, a little bit of pressure here. We've also got the futures showing a little bit of weakness to flat. Now on open, expecting green going into this rate decision probably at Wednesday. Looks like it's a little bit of strength coming into the markets, although I expect them to be winding out a bit as we get there. Now we've got gold also looking at this above 2,600 per ounce. Silver's up above $31 per ounce, and oil as well coming back, but that is also on some supply and a couple of other issues I'll bring up in a bit. Now, with everyone looking forward to these Fed cuts, this is weakening the dollar, and it's fueling more gains in bonds with treasuries as people are looking for a return on their money. Now, with this, none of this is independent. You cannot take just the United States anymore. The central banks must work together as we work towards this new solution and central bank digital currency. So we've got the ECB saying they're almost certainly going to wait to December for a cut. Now, all of these affect each other heavily now. So if ECB is going to wait, the Fed cannot cut too much. That would create too large of a discrepancy between the US dollar and the euro, and basically would crush the European partners in the West, either by trade, depending on what they do, their action, either through trade or through the currency weakness and hit their markets. So with this, we've got on the other side, if you look at Asia, now this morning I put this up because this is showing a bit of discrepancy in their stock markets as well. And they have the Nikkei stock market was weak. This is because with the dollar getting weaker, it's strengthening the yen. Now, as the strength comes into the yen, it weakens their markets because it brings price down. Very similar to the US dollar with the United States market. Now, as this dollar is coming down, market is going up. With them, their yen is going up and their market is coming down. Now, if you start to see these relationships, they work pretty much like a seesaw, depending on which side you've got things on. So this is a yen versus dollar that you're watching at work here. Their market down, our market up, our dollar down, their yen up. And I'll keep going over this so this relationship becomes a little more natural. When you see these moves happening, you can understand what is going on in the background. So with this, they're looking forward to Friday. They're watching very closely what the Fed does. Now, if the Fed does cut higher and this dollar pulls back, they don't need to worry about hiking rates. They've got their producer inflation coming down and slowing, first time in 8 months, and that is in direct relation with what the Fed is doing. So with this, we're watching the sentiment. I left this up from yesterday because as of right now, still holds true. We're watching the volatility index. Should be a very volatile week ahead, which is good for day traders. We've got oil coming up, gaining a bit of strength. This is the underlier in the markets and the main trading value in commodities. And I'll go over that in a bit. We've got yield curve as they are manipulating this through central banks. Okay, we've got this Fed coming up, and then also green until the Fed. Once the Fed makes their announcement, we could have a sell the news event. This is not financial advice. Have to do your own research. So with this, let's go on. With all of this going on in the forefront, we've got crypto and commodities poised for massive rally. Now, lately, they've been taking a hit. Okay, as this relationship comes out, right now, this chart basically showing the relationship where we are right now with commodities in relation to the S&P 500. So a lot of traders, basically long-time larger funds, watching this dynamic. So you should also. Okay, moving over to energy, which directly related oil. Energy costs are a worry for small to medium enterprises in advance of winter. Now, this is particularly true for the Eurozone. They are directly dependent upon Russia for a lot of their reserves. Let me go back here. We've got Russia mulling titanium and uranium exports, caps. US is dependent on them for aluminum, titanium, and uranium, and this is basically in answer to all of the sanctions going on. I'm going to talk about those a little bit more as well. So with all of this, of course, uranium going towards weapons as well as energy. With these, I wanted to speak about first the Red Sea salvage because you're not hearing about this. They've got another couple of tankers in the Middle East again. They're keeping this quiet because they don't want it to affect the markets. Now they're under tow still. This was from a few days back, and they're trying to salvage these. These were another direct relation to Houthi attacks. So that is also bringing up the price of oil as well as expected demand coming in with winter. Okay, a couple of other stories. DJT stock rising after there was an apparent attempt again. But more than this, basically, there is a DeFi venture coming out today, World Liberty Financial. Now they're targeting a September launch, but they're talking about this today, so this could bring some money into that space. What I'd like to bring up more is that with this crypto project, he is saying, quote, let's make crypto in America great by driving mass adoption of stable coins. Now, that's a quote, and I'm bringing this up because this is a direct play into central bank digital currency, because basically they're going to be using some type of stable coin. So just want to make you aware of that. Second, here with talking about Ford applying for patent for in-car ads. Now, this basically has issues with privacy, because basically uh, they are looking at a system that would track where you drive, listen to your conversations in your vehicle, and use this data to basically custom tailor ads that you will hear in your car speakers and on your screen. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. I find that very interesting. Okay, so with this, we've also got this is an accusation from RT, that's Russia Today. Their news media, US media, is merged with intelligence services long ago. This is obvious to us if you don't understand. The CIA has been running most of the ads, or you could call it news, mainstream media for some time in the United States. Now, this is coming out because the United States is actually sanctioning the news outlet, and this is coming straight from Secretary of State Blinken from the United States. Now, they're accusing them of covert influence activities, functioning as a de facto arm of Russian intelligence. Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black, because the United States is doing the exact same thing and has been for some time. So, would like to bring up another thing that has been going on in our face, basically from the United States government. I hope this video makes it out, but I've got to get this news out. So we've got this story coming out. Venezuela foiling a plot on Maduro. Basically, they arrested several suspects, including U.S. servicemen. Now, they're charging them with conducting acts of terrorism. What happened with this? They're saying this was an agency, three-letter agency, begins with a C, ends with an A, backed plot to take out Maduro and conduct these acts of terrorism. So basically, they arrested 2 Spaniards, 1 Czech, and 3 U.S. nationals, including a member of American military in active service. Now, he's not just active service, he is also a Navy SEAL, decorated for missions in Afghanistan as well as Iraq, and the ringleader of one of these groups. So, what was he doing here? We can only imagine his vacation being cut short. So, with this, also would like to bring up this other story, other side of the world, talking about how these 3 young military-aged men just happened to be on vacation together in the Congo, and they ended up getting arrested, and they're facing the death penalty for similar accusations. So you can put together your own ideas on these things that are going on, what you think is happening. So with this, I know this doesn't have much to do with the markets directly, but it does in an indirect way, because this affects our trade as well as other things. So with this, I wish you all a great trading day, wonderful day in general. Thank you kindly for spending your time with me. And until I see you again, please try to stay free.